Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, gratefully recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. How is everybody today, guys? What a great Monday. It's pretty sad when 18 degrees and sunny feels like spring, but it did today. A couple of things before we get started. I've been talking a bunch about the very challenging new customer that I've gotten. Well, she had invited me back to her house this morning to do some more work, and I wanted to pick up the heaters and stuff that I had, thawing her pipes out, even though I got them thawed out by the time I left. I left them as a precaution for the weekend, and because I was able to go back this morning and correct the issues that were requiring them, I took care of the little leak, and she had this little leak in her sink that somebody quoted her $2,500 to repair it, which was insane. It was literally just a $3 gasket that was just needed to be cleaned up and resealed. So I took care of that. Took care of a bunch of other stuff. Did some preventative maintenance stuff for her. And though she's a lot to deal with, because I think she's just a lonely old lady, I've been getting texts from her. I got texts from her all weekend about how brilliant I am. She's so lucky to have found me. And guys, she paid me more than I asked for this morning. Yet again, tipping me. She may be a lot, but you know what? From being somebody who is threatening and so abrasive, I'm getting all these beautiful just texts praising me. The woman was trying to feed me breakfast this morning, got me a glass of orange juice, was trying to send me home with groceries. Like, guys, my point being is when you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, regardless of who's on the receiving end of it, just because it's the right thing to do, fixing her heat and hot water, seeing that job through was the right thing to do. And because I chose to do so in kindness, like literally I've completely changed this lady's outlook. I might even have saved her tenants downstairs from having to move out over this nonsense. And you know what? At the end of the day, that feels really, really good. It's shocking. I'm just getting up from a nap. I'm a little cloudy, actually. You guys know last week was the busiest week of my life. I had a very busy morning, very productive day, but I was in a little bit early. I got back about 2:30, and frankly, I was exhausted. Gym yesterday set a new record. Going back to the gym tomorrow morning, and I'm like, you know what? It's a great afternoon to just crawl in bed and take a nice 3-hour nap, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm so glad I did. I feel really good. I'm going to get to bed early tonight because clearly if I'm taking a nap in the middle of the afternoon, it's because I've worn myself out and I need the rest. But, guys, we're going to get into reading today. I really like this reading. And guys, what I mean by this is the reason I walk around feeling so blessed all the time is I come home and I do these readings, and you hear me say this almost every single day. It's amazing to me how much this applies. Like my focus this entire weekend, and even before that, all last week, with doing, guys, I literally, during that storm, I would have normally made about an extra $1,000 with all the extra work I did, but I did so pro bono because I was making plenty of money, and I wasn't allowing people to flag me down. I was preemptively, every time, like I said, every time I came across somebody that was shoveling out their car, as long as they were so much as friendly or didn't throw a snowball at me, I stopped in the machine and cleaned off the apron or cleaned out their cars, because I just enjoyed the look of bewilderment on people's faces. They were so excited to see me and then just waving and God bless you, and it felt really good. And as I look at this reading, like, it makes perfect sense to me. It's Goodwill. Like I'm feeling so blessed in my life today, because if you remember, if you've been around since the beginning, if you go back and watch my earliest videos, my biggest focus in the early days was doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And I fully trusted that if I could learn to make that my baseline, that my whole world was going to change. And here we are, just a week shy of 13 months later, and my world has completely and utterly changed. And I'm so grateful for it. I love my new world, guys. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean I'll work my ass off. Doesn't mean I don't deal with the same things everybody else deals with. But I've chosen to rise above and look for the lessons and things and just promote goodwill. And that's literally what I've been doing lately. That's the title of the Just for Today, any meditation reading today, guys. Goodwill. Goodwill is best exemplified in service. Proper service is doing the right thing for the right reason. The right thing because it's the right thing to do. The spiritual core of our disease is self-centeredness. We've talked about this a lot. In dealing with others, the only mode of our addiction taught us was selfishness. We wanted what we wanted when we wanted it. Obsession with self was rooted in the very ground of our lives. In recovery, how do we root out self-obsession? How do we root self-obsession out? Same thing. We reverse the effects of our disease by applying a few spiritual principles to counteract the self-centeredness of our addiction. We learn to apply the principle of goodwill. Rather than seeking to serve only ourselves, we begin serving others. Rather than thinking about what we can get out of a situation, we learn to think first of the welfare of others. When faced with a moral choice, we learn to stop, recall the spiritual principles, and act appropriately. As we begin doing the right thing for the right reason, we can detect a change in ourselves. Where once we were ruled by a self-will, now we are guided by our goodwill for others. The chronic self-centeredness of addiction is losing its hold on us. We are learning to practice these principles in all of our affairs. We are living in our recovery, not in our disease. And the affirmation is, just for today, wherever I am, whatever I do, I will seek to serve others, not just myself. When faced with the dilemma, I will try to do the right thing for the right reason. And guys, boy, does that go right back to how many times have you heard me say lately, practice these principles in all affairs. I've been practicing these principles in all my affairs. Therefore, my customers are better. My business is thriving. I go to the gym and be my best self. It means I'm not trying to cut corners. I'm not trying to stack protein at this or that. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm trying to take a daily vitamin, a couple of men's 50 plus, Mars Men's. I do take Mars Men's natural testosterone support. I feel like this stuff's made a huge difference in my life. And methylene blue for cellular regeneration. That's the extent of anything I take. Because I'm trying to be the healthiest I can. I'm trying to prove a point here. And I've been, and since day one, my main focus was learning to do the right thing because it was the right thing to do. Because I was, even when I was doing the right things, and in certain circumstances, there were a lot of right things I was doing. I tried to be kind, but even when I was being kind back then, it was just a manipulation so that I could get anybody to excuse my absence while I was out getting drugs, or believe my bullshit, or lend me money, or just whatever it was I needed. There was always an angle to everything I did. And at the end of the day, I understood that's where my lack of desire to get better was, because I was overwhelmed by the just despair and the way I reacted with the world, the way that I looked at myself, the way that I felt about myself, because of the way I acted. Like, I knew I had potential. I knew I had goodness inside of me. And even when I was being good, it was manipulation. And that bothered the hell out of me, guys. At the end of the day, I'm shocking myself constantly with the amount of goodwill that I have and I feel towards people. And the more I do, the more God blesses me in other ways. Like, the fact that my business is doing as well as it is nothing short of miraculous. The fact that I've learned to stand and have the courage of my convictions makes me feel good about who I am. It makes me feel confident in confronting others when I see something wrong. And I don't just mean, before it was, stupid little things like, yeah, if I saw a kid getting bullied, of course, I don't care who it is, I'm going to stop because that shit's nonsense. Like, bullying does more harm to more people than in so many different areas. And I was bullied myself at one point until I learned to fight, and I took it a step too far. I took fighting to a next level and started getting arrested. And I'm not a bad guy. I never was. Even when I fought, even back in those days when I was fighting, I was just fighting people that were bullying me, right? And I never went out of my way to start a fight with anybody. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but guys, my point being, I love the fact, and I gauge the fact that I'm doing well in my recovery on so many different factors. And today, today was a prime example today, guys. I had a very busy, very productive morning, but again, I'm able to do things with a clarity that I've never had, which has brought me to the next level in my work. I'm able to go in and do things in a fraction of the time. The one thing my customers are constantly saying to me is, hey, slow down, take a break, you don't have to work so hard. And I let them know, I'm like, listen, this is just how I am. Don't take it personal. I like to get a lot of things done. I challenge myself to be as efficient as I can, and I do this because I'm able to keep your prices down. I'm able to get more work done in a shorter period of time, so I make my money on doing a lot of different jobs. I'm able to provide a better service for a better rate. And like, well, yeah, but you don't have to go. No, this is my comfortable pace that I enjoy doing, so I'm able to get more done. And lo and behold, By 11:30 this morning, I had a couple of jobs I thought were going to go much longer that just went better than expected. So by 11:30, I'm like, holy shit, I've actually knocked off my entire list minus one appointment that I had. So I decided, and I was talking to a friend in the program, Frankie, last night. Him and his girl went into detox on the same day, so they were both coming up to their 90 days today. And I know they're going to Gratitude to get their chips. Well, as I'm driving through Cambridge, I'm like, shit, it's 11:50. I'm right around the corner. Like I have an hour to kill, or close to it. Let me stop at my meeting, and we hand out chips for various lengths of sobriety, and it's a volunteer position. We ask for a volunteer every day. So I walked in. Matt is the Monday chair. He's a friend of mine. So I walked in when I was greeting everybody. I asked Matt. I said, "Hey Matt, please let me do the chips today." And he went, "Of course." So rather than asking for a volunteer, he asked me to step up to do the chips. And then lo and behold, not only was Frank and his girl Michelle getting their chip today, but Dot was getting her chip today, Julio was getting his chip today, and somebody else was. So now, 5 of the people that have been looking up to me in recovery, because they come to my Friday meeting, and everybody tells me I do a good job and I bring a good energy to it. I got to run the getting of the chip. So I literally, and guys, you guys know it is I was being a promoter basically at that point, getting everybody fired up, bringing excitement and energy into my voice, and then just going ape shit crazy, clapping for these people, and then hugging them and presenting them with their chips, and then cheering them on. And and it's not just me; it's the gratitude group. It's the days when 4 or 5 people get chips. It just changes the tone of the meeting because it brings up such a celebratory energy. And I'm talking, there are people there with 26, 30 years of sobriety that are like woohoo and hooping and hollering. Like we celebrate our wins together. We encourage these people together, and look at excitement and joy in these people's eyes as they're not only getting their chip and getting a hug or a handshake, but then 50 people in the room are just hooting and hollering and clapping and going off. It's absolutely beautiful, and I love the fact that my primary reason for going to the meeting today was I'm driving by and I'm like, oh shit, I get enough time there. Frankie's been reaching out. He's been talking to me a lot. I can actually get there and present him his chip for him. And I knew that made a difference. And he knew, and then, about 2/3 of the way through the meeting, my phone went off and I had to leave. So I waved everybody by and I'm out. And then they know damn well that I went there out of my way to go present them with their chips today. So they feel seen and they feel heard, promoting goodwill. Like, it's absolutely beautiful, guys. I did it all through the storm with the with the people. I mean, guys, if you guys are from the Boston area, particularly in the city of Boston where there's no parking, they plowed every freaking car in really bad. Like people, I talked to people that said it took 2 days for them to shovel the car out. Now, granted, not gonna go there. But guys, no less than 35 or 40 people whose driveway aprons and cars I moved snow out of the way with the machine and just drove away before they could even acknowledge attempting to pay me, because that wasn't what I was about. It was literally, guys, I've been out in my machine for 2 days. I've been working for like 5 or 6 days, almost, minus a couple of, few hour naps here and there. I was exhausted. But again, I couldn't let myself drive by in a machine. I'm driving down the road and not help somebody out, because it's the right thing to do. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it's that simple. Yeah, and at that point, I'm on somebody else. Somebody else is paying me to run the machine. So it's not like I'm paying for the machine. I'm paying for the fuel. I'm out here trying to justify my business. No, I could give back. Like, I'm making enough money. I could give that back, and I know I can, so I did. And I didn't do, and at the time, guys, I was exhausted. I didn't do so because I could come make content on it. I could have broken out my phone and taken pictures and posted on my channel if I was trying to promote it. No, I'm doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. That has become my baseline. And at the end of the day, that's why I'm thriving. It's why I'm standing out in every situation, because I go out of my way to make sure I'm doing the right thing. I make sure I don't take shortcuts. I don't run away because a customer is difficult, or I don't leave people stranded without heat. One of my other good friends, Al, the one that fell on Saturday and called me, had me go salt some of his properties today. I met them this morning, or this afternoon, after my meeting, to go give them an invoice and pick up a check, and I picked up some keys to do some other work for them. And there was some more ice there, so I had some salt, so I shoveled up the driveway, and I did that. And the thing it is, and Al is a great guy. I love Al and Gina. I've come to really cherish them. They're the cutest older couple. Al's had a stroke, so he talks a little funny. Jeannie is just a sweetheart, just the ultimate sweetheart. Old grandma, she's I love her to death. As we were talking, and he's like, you don't know how much of a relief it is to us, because he was a customer of my former boss that was taking me on when I came out to do other work, and my former boss just left him high and dry. They've got literally about 30 apartments here in Somerville. You can't leave tenants without heat and hot water. You got to put them up in hotels, and when my former boss is getting too drunk and too fucked up on the coke, he just stops answering calls because he can't talk, or he gets too, anybody's been in addiction, when you get to that point where you just can't leave the house, right? Well, he gets that way regularly. So early on, Al would call me up and he's like, listen, can you do my work? And he's like, at this point, I have to get somebody else. I can't rely on him. I'm going to lose tenants. I'm going to lose, I'm going to go out of business. And I said, of course, yeah. If you're gonna hire somebody else, I'd love for you to hire me. These people are one of probably my third best customer at this point, possibly second, right? And I met him today, and he's like, you don't know what it means to us, because that we know that we can call you on the weekends. That other fucking guy, you could call him on Saturday for an emergency, and he wouldn't call you back till Monday afternoon. And I'm like, yeah, of course not. I'm saying, you guys have my personal cell phone for a reason. That's why I run my cell phone, yeah. I mean, if at 3 in the morning, if you call once and I don't hear it, call back again. If it's an emergency, like, call till you get me. I'm going to come. Yes, I always answer you guys' phone call. If I don't get it and I get a message, I call you right back, because every once in a while, Jeannie's phone will ring on my phone and I'll just get a message, but I get the message as soon as she leaves the voicemail, I get the message. And I always call them right back. They're like, no, you don't understand. Your prices are better, your work is so much better, and you call us back every time. And I'm like, of course I do. Like, I don't understand. And of course I do that because it's the right thing to do. I don't do it to stand, well, I do it to stand out, but I mean, again, I do that regardless. I don't consider that something I stand out. That's just something I've always done. When I was working for Doug, which set me up to have my own business, that was something I understood. Doug would call whenever he called. He needed something. Like, if it's an emergency, you come, we deal with it now. We manage properties that people live in. Like, we got to keep people safe. We got to be, we got to keep the heat on. We got to keep the hot water running. We got to keep the electricity on. Like, we got to make sure there's a standard of living for these people that are paying good money to live in these properties. So that is my business. That's the structure of my business. I don't consider that over and above. When I decided to go out on my own, now I'm just reaping the rewards of it. But yeah, I've got to answer every call. Okay, it is what it is. And yes, it can be very overwhelming at times. But again, when I start feeling overwhelmed, I stop. And I just go, what am I overwhelmed for? Like, I couldn't be happier for this. I cannot believe that for once in my life, because I've tried other business, guys. I had a half-ass garage. No, today I have a legit business that is shocking anybody and everybody. And I run into occasional other friends that are licensed plumbers that are out of work, and they're like, oh, I can't, and they don't want to hear it. And I tell them constantly. One of them's a good friend of mine that if you watch the early videos, I was talking to him like on a daily basis because he can't get out of his own way, and he's constantly holding himself back. And I'm always letting him know, I'm like, man, you got to rise up. Like, the attitude that you bring to every situation determines the outcome. Like, he's going into restaurants and he's pissing and moaning and he's just grouchy, and the server thinks that he's taking it out on her, and then all of a sudden, like, he asks for extras and he doesn't get it. And I'm like, Chris, what do you think that is? Like, you come off as very brash and very better than, and looking down on and shitting. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm like, yeah, but that's how you come off, Chris. Well, I don't mean to be. It's just me how I am. I'm like, Chris, if you want something extra from a situation, you got to bring something extra to the situation. Be kind. And the thing is, we go into the same place together, side by side, every day. He would order one simple thing. I'd order 9 custom things. And the woman knows I'm going to tip her, and, hey, sweetie, how are you? How's your day? Just kind, compassionate. If I see somebody else giving her a hard time, I stick up and put them in his place so she knows I'm standing by my words. And they're happy to do whatever it is I want for my lunch, and I'm happy to pay for it and then tip accordingly. And I'm like, see that, Chris? Oh, Jesus, you get your lunch exactly how you want it. I want one extra thing, and I don't get it. Because you come in there like an asshole. Every time. You're always miserable. You're Eeyore. Oh, doom and gloom. Well, you don't understand, I've been through this. Chris, don't even go there. And I started telling him, literally, and because I was honestly trying to get him to change his attitude, because he's a good friend. He's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. But he's miserable. So I started telling him some of the stuff that I've been through, because he didn't know me. He's only known me for about 4 or 5 years. And he was shocked. Are you kidding me, Kelly? How? Chris, because I choose to rise above it. I don't let things hold me back. I choose to see the good. I choose to promote goodwill. I know I can't change the whole world, but I can make a difference in my community. I can make a difference in my life. And it's making all the difference for me because God is showering blessings upon me in ways I never dreamed possible. Guys, the video's getting a little long. We're going to leave it at that. But guys, goodwill is a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.